Hello everybody, my name is Bruce. I'm with the U-Haul company. Today we're going to be installing a hitch on a Subaru Impreza. We're going to give this vehicle the tools needed to install for a bike rack. They can take a U-Haul trailer, a small U-Haul trailer, anywhere across the United States. So let's get started.
You'll need the tools seen here to complete this installation.
First thing we're going to do is we're going to secure the exhaust. I'm going to use a ratchet. And my plan is I'm going to use the cross member up here. I'm going to wrap the ratchet around the cross member and secure it so that when I do lower it, it doesn't fall, so that it's going to rest into the ratchet system. I'm going to start tight and then I can lower it with the ratchet as needed to get more access up underneath. Now that I've got it secured, I'm going to go ahead and start removing my exhaust isolators. So I've got some soapy water. WD-40 will work. Some type of lubricant spray will work if you don't have the soap and water. Just so that the rubber is lubricated, so that when you pull it over the metal, it will remove it with a little more ease. Sometimes these will come off by hand, which in this case, this one probably will come off by hand. If not, we have a isolator remover. It clamps on, and as you squeeze it, it'll push it off. But this one I can probably take off just by hand. One removed, and I moved to the one on the outside. Again, this one was easy enough to come off by hand. Lastly, I'm going to go ahead and crawl under there to get the last one. So this isolator was a little more difficult, so I'm going to actually use the proper tool to get that removed. What we'll do is going to tuck this behind the isolator. This part goes on the metal bracket itself, and as I push it, it'll remove it right off there. Behind it, press on the metal. Moves it right off. And now we've got all three isolators removed. What I'll do is, as I need more space, I'll just lower the exhaust with the ratchet. So we're going to remove four 10mm bolts that are holding the heat shield together. I'm going to leave one portionally on there so it doesn't fall on me. Now the reason we removed the heat shield from the vehicle is there's a portion of this that blocks our area where the hitch is going to go. And the area that it is blocking or covering is this section right here. This area is where the hitch is going to be attached to the vehicle. Heat shield was covering this area, so that's why we're going to remove the heat shield to make a cut as the instructions indicate, so that we can get the hitch installed on there. This particular application, the portion that we're going to be removing, I'm just going to mark it with the marker. Then I'm going to use the tin snips and I'm going to go ahead and start removing the portion that we need to take off the heat shield. Want to be very cautious. This area could be very serrated, so it could be an area where you may cut yourself. So now we have our cut heat shield. We're going to put it back up into place, and so we're going to put 3 of the 4 10mm bolts back in, 4th one that we had cut out, so we're going to need 3 of those 4 to put it back into place. Alright, so I've got them all started. I'm going to get my socket set and I'm going to go ahead and tighten those into position. Alright, all 3 are tight, and now we're ready to move on to the next step. Flathead screwdriver for our next step. Going to go ahead and remove the covers underneath the vehicle. Some may pop out by hand. This first one here is pretty simple, it just pops right out. You can discard them, you're not going to use them again. They come out pretty simple. Okay, so now we're going to do the driver's side. These rubbers that we're taking off are going to be where we're going to be attaching the hitch to the vehicle. And these covers are just so they don't become full of rocks, chips, whatever road schmagma might be out there. So we're going to go ahead and remove all of them. And now we have them removed, we can move on to the next step. The only way that this is going to fit through our access hole is if we get it enlarged. So I'm going to show you what we're up against and then we'll go ahead and get it remedied. This is our access hole right here. The piece that we're going to need to put up through here and stuff is just a little bit bigger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a small incision length of the vehicle, and then I'm going to peel it back so that I'll have enough room to go ahead and pull this up and through into our access points for the hitch installation. So I'm going to use an air saw and I'm going to make those incisions on the passenger side first, and then I'm going to do the same process on the driver's side. So I'm going to use my needle nose, grab my incision areas, and then make it so that I can actually pull these items up into our access hole. And I'm going to do the same thing on the passenger side. And we're going to go ahead and duplicate that same process on the passenger side. Got it open. Verify that I was able to get some success, which I did. Alright, now we're ready for the next step. Okay, I'm going to show you how this works. We're going to do a reverse pull wire. So how this is going to take place, we're going to put spacer on, then we're going to feed our bolt again all the way through to the end. Last access hole, we're going to put all of our hardware up in there. Once it's all in there, we're going to pull it through just like the other two are. So we're going to be using the access hole, and then our furthest ones away. Again, you always want to start with the farthest one first, go into the next one by the access hole, and then we're using the access hole one, which we're doing the reverse pull wire. So we've got these down. I want to leave them on, so when we do put the hitch into place, we're able to pull these bolts right through the hitch in their appropriate holes. Okay, so I doing a reverse fish wire on the passenger side too. Push my hardware up in there. So then again, I have all 3 wires hanging. So when I put the hitch into position, these will fall into place. And now we're ready to put the hitch in position. If you don't have one of these U-Haul exclusive hitch holding jacks, it'll be a 2-person process. So I'm going to go ahead and get this in here, and then we'll pull our pull wires down through there and put our spacers into position as well. Should be high enough. So I'm going to pull the pull wires through each one of the spots where they'll connect with the hitch. So we got the first one, second one, and then the third one we're going to use that spacer. Now you can tape it on the top is one method to do it. I prefer to just run it through the wire, since I'm putting the wire through that same area anyways. The pull wire should hold it into place to get the same net result. This one looks like it's backed off a little bit. And we got the third one into position. So now we'll just duplicate this same process on the driver's side, and then we'll raise it into position and put the nuts and clonic washers on. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put the hitch into position, and once I have the bolts through the hitch itself, I'm going to start to back one of them off. Very important, and when you put your washer in, these clonic washers have teeth on them. Those teeth need to be up against the hitch. So once I've got one on hand tight, all the rest of them should be fairly easy to just remove, and then get the other ones on there hand tight as well. Second time's a charm. Alright, and then we're going to do the same process on the other side. Get the hitch into position and do the same process. Alright, and I'm just going to go ahead and torque this last one on the driver's side. Alright. All 3 are torqued at 50 foot-pounds. Now we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and remove our hitch hauler, which is exclusive for U-Haul. So So then our last step we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and put the exhaust back up into position. Got the rubber isolators we took off earlier. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to spray a little bit of soapy water into their connection points so they'll slide onto the metal surface and stuff with some ease. Slide this one on. Again, soapy water is what we're working with today. WD-40, any kind of penetrating spray, lubricant, JB. WD-40 is another option that's usually in the household may have. Slide them on. Otherwise, if it's dry, it'll be real tough to slide them on, but when you put a little bit of a lubricant on there, these will slide with ease. And then we'll raise the hitch into position. I'll go and apply these onto the two connection points that we did when we took them off in the beginning. Got this one here, and the other one is on the back right corner. I'll be applying it right back on top of there. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and raise this into position. I'm gonna hook the rubber isolator onto this bracket here. And I'm gonna have to switch arms. Life was easy. When you put enough lubricant on there, they'll slide on by hand in most cases. Second one will probably go on just as easy. So put a little bit of soapy water on my hand so I can apply that up on there. And I'll raise the exhaust into position. I'm going to spray a little bit on my fingers so I can apply a little bit of the soap water on the bracket. Then we'll just slide it right into the isolator. Proper application of strength and some lubrication done by hand. Exhaust is back into position. So we've got our hitch finally installed on the Impreza, and it's got an 1.25" receiver, which would be super good to go ahead and tow any kind of single axle trailer across North America. For the bike enthusiast, your vehicle is now bike rack ready as well. Or you can put a small hitch hauler on there. Tow rating for this particular application is got a 200-pound tongue pressure and 2,000 pounds max trailer capacity.
To learn more about the products seen in this video, or to schedule an installation by a U-Haul Hitch professional, visit us online today at uhaulhitches.com.